All right, welcome back to Twin Stick Garage, where if you've been following for a while, you know that I'm trying to get this old 79 Kenworth built up like the one used in the Smokey and the Bandit movie. Safe and sound, everybody asks. And I almost feel like I'm stalled on this project because this, usually when I add things or bolt things on or upgrade certain things, I can kind of get them done and then get some momentum and move to the next thing. But the bodywork, just because there's so much time involved and so many different activities, I feel like I'm a bit stalled out. So I've kind of set a goal for myself to get this truck into primer by the end of this episode. So I'm going to finish sanding everything down. I got a few more things to touch up, and then we'll mask everything off. When I say we, I mean me. Mask everything off, and then with any luck, I'll get the paint booth finished here, and we'll lay some primer down. And then after that, I can sand the primer and hopefully get it painted, and then bolt all the nice stuff back on the truck. Now I've kind of set a goal for myself to have this truck on the road and ready for September, because there's a Let's Go truck shows coming up in Leduc, Alberta in mid-September. So now, just like all the other car and truck restoration shows out there, I have a deadline. You know, like they always, oh, we gotta get the truck painted or the car painted and ready for SEMA. So that's kind of like me now. I've got a goal, but I think it's realistic. I'm gonna do everything I can to get it on the road and hopefully go and pick up that new trailer, that van trailer, and I'll take them both to the truck show. So hope to see you there. And like I always say, let's talk more work. So I'll quit jammering on here and get going on priming this truck. Okay, so it's, I don't know, 3-4 hours later, and all I've been doing is sanding this roof cap. And it's turning out pretty decent. It's getting pretty smooth now. I'm down to, I think I'm 220 grit, and it's starting to look good, but man, it just takes forever, and it was a little wavy, so I had to try and knock that down with the air sander. And then of course trying to get in all the little nooks and crannies. I'm starting to shred my little roto disc there, but it's getting there. I have a lot of respect for people in the body industry. I mean, I'm obviously a beginner and don't know anything, so it's taken me a lot longer. There's probably a few tricks of the trade to make this go faster, but I think it just takes time, and the more time you put in, I figure the better job it'll turn out in the end. So I still got the roof cap on the cab that needs doing, and still some more sanding, but trying to keep motivated. Like I say, it just takes forever. Oh. Bodywork is a lot of work. So I'm trying to longboard this out and get it as flat as I can. But like I say, a lot of work. We'll get there though. Okay, so I decided to take a break from sanding for a while, and I wanted to do some of the other jobs that needed doing. And one of the ones was these holes in the fenders. Now, they must have been for some kind of snap-in reflector, but a lot of the reflectors that I see out there just have a simple screw that you just screw in. So what I thought I'd do is fill in these holes, similar to what I did on the clearance lights there, or the marker lights. So I just cut out a little biscuit of fiberglass from that fender that I found in the ditch.
It's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year.
And I'll tape this off, and then I'll mix up some fiberglass resin, and we'll do the exact same thing and fill these holes in, but I think that'll work just fine. coming together. Still need to do some cleanup to get that shape back for that lip, but I think that'll work good. Pretty good. Oh man. So it's getting there. I think I gotta go up on the grit now and try and get it as smooth as I can before putting the primer down. And one of the I'll take this off so I can breathe. One of the viewers out there commented in an earlier episode and said, you know, these old hoods are always cracked and they're heavy, and it probably would have been easier and more cost effective to just buy a new hood. And, you know, he's probably right. I don't know what a new hood is. Probably third parties that actually make these. I know it'd be unreasonable to buy it from Kenworth, but where's the fun in that? I mean, half the fun's trying learning new skills, and if this, when this turns out and looks all shiny and smooth, I think that'll feel pretty good after all these hours of work. So I've stepped up my game here on the Milwaukee Orbital. I picked up these foam backing plates from Amazon, a pack of 2, and what it allows it to do with, instead of having that hard plate, it's softer and it conforms to round edges. So check this out. So it works way better on the rounded corners. So that was a good purchase. I'm happy with that. Okay. I feel like I've been doing this for days and days. Well, actually I have. So I'm just cleaning up the last few spots that I couldn't get into with my larger equipment, but I think we're getting down there on the old home stretch. Man, it's just been a ton of work to try and get this down as smooth as I can. So what I might do is go over the whole thing with the Orbital on like a 320 grit, and then I'll get the car washer in here and we'll wash all this crap out, and then wipe down the whole truck. And I still got to finish hanging the tie back from the front there and setting up the fans. So still some work to do, but by God, I think we'll get it in primer by the end of this episode. Oh, I tell you what, this is like that movie from the 80s. Oh. Normally I don't start drinking till I'm done, but I think I've earned my treat. This is a absolute ton of work to sand an entire truck down by yourself. And again, I'm probably not using the right tools, and there's probably auto body professionals out there watching this going, I would have done it differently. But yeah, I don't always do things the right way, but they get done nonetheless. It feels pretty smooth now, and like I say, I might have to wait till tomorrow to paint, because I can barely lift my arms above my head. I've been sanding so much, but we're getting closer. We're getting closer. So, like I say, I think what I'll do is get all my junk out of the way here, clean out this area, clean out my paint booth, and then hose it all down. Blow off the truck first, I guess, and get all that dust onto the ground, and then we'll try and wash it all out of here. I know I'm not going to get rid of all of it, but what I'm planning on doing is, before I prime it, I guess I'll prime it tomorrow being Sunday, What I'll do is in the morning I'll wet the floor down to try and keep the dust down from going into the paint. It's not as much, it's not as big of a worry or concern with primer, because again, I'm going to prime it. This is high build primer, and I got to sand it all down again. So lots and lots of work. That's kind of why I was putting the body off to the last, but it's a necessary evil if you want to restore trucks, I suppose. All right, Mark. Less talking and drinking and more working. Okay, good morning. It's actually the next day here at Twin Stick Garage. So I wrapped it up yesterday evening to take the missus out to dinner and a movie, and we went and saw the new Top Gun movie, Maverick. And if you're a fan of the original, do yourself a favor and go see that movie, man. It was on point. I really enjoyed it. So it's the next day now, and I think with any luck, we'll get the truck into primer today. What I'm planning to do is, there's a couple, when I went around the truck, there was a few spots that needed a light filler. So I put that on there last night. So now that it's dry, I'll sand that down. And then the truck should be finished sanding. Still need to finish the paint booth, spray the floor, and then with any luck, we'll put some primer on. So with that, I guess let's get at her. Oh, so that's coming together. You can actually see, so I opened the man door over by the Duke, and just natural airflow wants to walk it out of here. So I think that's gonna work just perfect. So I don't know if it was one of the viewers or where I heard this, or maybe I think someone gave me some advice somewhere along the way and said that because you're actually grabbing paint fumes and sending them outside, there's a risk that it can actually swirl around and go up on your doors or the outside of your building. So what I'm going to try and do, I just got some cheap filters from Home Depot here, the thinnest ones I could find, and I'm just going to put them on the outside here, do some fan testing like Whistle and Diesel, and see if it can actually, I'm sure it'll hold it on there and it'll help reduce. It won't be perfect because of course there's no round filters, but let's just see how this works. Yeah, not perfect by any means. What I might do is I might just zip tie them to the cage so at least they stay in place, but I think that'll at least help. Man, when they say painting is 99% prep and 1% painting, ain't that the truth? Put 100 hours into doing body work and prep just to have 20 minutes of fun. But we're getting close. We're getting close. What do I want to do here? Something like that. So next job, getting closer to paint, getting excited, is to clean off all the dust. So I've got these dust and any oils. So I got these special, what do they call these? I don't know, cleaning cloths from the auto body shop. And this is just a wax and grease remover. So we'll pour a little on there. And they say don't go in circles, just go in one direction. Smells lovely. It's just getting that last little bit of dust off. Clean it all down. So hopefully the primer will stick really nice. Yeah, see? Lots of good stuff on there. Okay, home stretch. Okay, that's about as good as I can get it. That should keep the dust down. Okay, let's mix up some primer. So let's get some primer on here. So what I went and picked up some Nason brand paint from my local paint supplier, the same company that sold me the paint that I put on the front of the bunk and the back of the sleeper. And I was asking for some etching primer because of course you want to put etching primer on bare metal, and then I wanted high build to obviously fill in all the scratches. And the guy there said that this actual Select Prime is both, which I'm going to trust him on that because I don't know much about auto body, and I'm sure people are already typing going, no, it's not, but hopefully it works. So we're going to mix it up, and it's a ratio of 4:1. So 4 parts primer and then 1 part activator. So we'll just use our fancy measuring cup for that, blend it up and give it a good stir, and pour it into the paint gun. So I actually did pick up some paint guns. I got a 1.4, which is typical for a smaller tip for base clear, or a single stage, which I'll probably use to paint the truck. And then I got a 1.8 for primer. And then I actually got this really fancy one. This one was half price, some fancy Italian one. So I might even try that one for painting the truck. But it's funny because back in the day, I used to love shooting pool, and it's kind of a lost art. But I had a really nice pool cue when I was in college. And it's funny because you take a pool cue out and you think a really nice cue is going to make a good player, but it doesn't. So it's probably the same with the gun. It's probably more the skill of the painter. But what I wanted to do actually, instead of using my new guns, was I had a fan out there, and Billy, he reached out to me probably about a year ago because he knew I was going to be painting these trucks. And he said he painted, he did a project with his son. I guess they painted an old, I think it was an old pickup truck. And he said he's done, the project turned out beautiful, and he's done with the guns, so he sent them my way. So he sent a paint gun, and then a primer gun, and then a touch-up gun as well. So I really appreciate that. Thanks so much, Billy. And I'm going to use that gun because it's got good vibes. Your project turned out, so hopefully mine does as well. So I set up the gun. I set it up full, so all the way out on the main, and then I like to go 1 turn in. I think I did 1.5 turns in. And then the fan I do all the way out, and then I do about a 1/4 turn on the top there just to tighten it up a little. And then from a pressure standpoint, I think I'll try around 20, see how that works. Okay, let's mix up some paint, or primer, keep calling it paint, and put it on the truck. And I got some new organic vapor cartridge filters, so we'll put those on my mask as well. And then we'll get painting. Yeah, this thing's not that great. I got it from Home Depot and it kind of leaks out, but whatever. Okay, Mark, you ready to paint this thing?
You up for this one, Maverick?
Just a walk in the park, Kazansky.
Okay, let's see if the gun's set up correctly. Not bad. Not bad. Out of paint. Nice. close there. Pay attention, Mark. Not bad. Not bad at all.
Now, Beth, don't con me.
I'm sorry, Mr. McFly. I meant I was just starting on the second coat.
Oh, one great truck. I don't think it turned out too bad. Oh, still painty in here. Guess I better leave the fans going. I'm about done. That was a lot of work. So we'll let that dry. I'm gonna go crack a cold one or two. And stay tuned next week where we play Count the Runs.
Until next week, happy painting.
Click the Twin Stick Garage logo to subscribe, and be sure to comment down below. I encourage you to share any thoughts, feedback, suggestions, stories, or even just a simple hello. I read and appreciate every one. And if you really want to help out the channel, head over to my Patreon, a subscription-based service that you can sign up and see videos before they're released on YouTube. I'm also going to be posting some content that you can't see anywhere else, so go check it out.